Assalamu alaikum. I'm deeply honored to have the opportunity to speak to Dr. Tubanur Yesilhark Ozkan.
Yes, very well done.
Okay, well, that's great. She's here, of course, on the conference held by the Islamic Medical Association of South Africa, IMASA, and she's from the International Foundation for Muslim Theology, I believe, based in the UK. You have an interesting story, Turkish, German, and living in the UK.
Very confusing.
And that's representative of a lot of people these days. So how do we, as multicultural global Muslims these days, kind of go through the day-to-day aspects of our faith when it comes to your subject of expertise, Tawheed, Aqidah, Theology?
Mm-hmm. When Islam was born, in a sense, the world culture is already existing, right? So when Islam started spreading, it did penetrate into the different cultures. But what it did was, and the beauty about it is, that it got rid of the bad habits of each culture that it penetrated into, and got straightened maybe some of the wrongs that were being done in each culture, and purified, in a sense, the culture that was already existent. So I think that being multicultural in that sense, or being born and being exposed to different cultures, is a gain, really, for every young person.
Yes.
So nobody should see it as a loss or as something negative. It is exactly contrary to that. It is a gain. It is something beautiful, and any language, and that's what we were talking about earlier. And any additional language that the person knows comes with a whole culture.
Mm-hmm.
So any language is actually, or at the same time, a whole culture that you know, that
Yes.
you adopt into your life. So it is really something beautiful. And when you're able to marry or live that culture with a genuine Islamic understanding, Muslim understanding, with the akhlaq, the Muslim akhlaq that we're saying basically, then that culture that you have also gained becomes even more beautiful.
Yes.
Really.
And how do we traverse the path of being authentically Muslim while also fitting into academic circles as young people?
That's a good question. Now, I think it has a little bit also to do about how you perceive your own religion, and how you relate to and what religion actually is to you, really. It's a very basic. You have to go back to the basics a little bit, because the whole idea of compromising your religion or feeling uncomfortable at what other people asking you to do in certain circumstances, it has very much to do with how you yourself perceive your religion and what your religion means to you.
Yes.
Right? So, when you look into the Quran, for example, right? When the Quran talks about Islam, there is no such thing as capital letters and small letters in Arabic, right?
Yes.
So, however, there is in our
English,
languages,
yes,
in English,
mm-hmm.
in English and other languages.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when the Quran is translated, especially when those ayahs are translated into English, the word Islam mostly is translated with a capital I,
Yes.
meaning the institutionalized religion of Islam,
Yes.
right? However, most of the time, what is meant in the Quran is Islam with a small I, which literally means peace, which comes from salam, right? And what it means is simply to stay and be on the Sirat al-Mustaqim, on the right path, on the wasat,
Yes.
basically, in a sense, right? So what does wasat mean then? Because that can be a relative term, I mean,
Yes, of course.
wasat for me can be something else than wasat for you.
Wasat meaning the middle way.
The middle way, the
Yes.
golden path, if you want to say so,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So, and we Muslims, when we pray, we always say the Fatiha, right? Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, Ihdinas Sirata al-Mustaqim,
Yes.
right? Lead us to the golden path. Now, what is that golden path that we're always praying for?
Yes,
when we say it. Now, let's talk a little bit about this, because this is important for us to understand. What is it that when we talk about religion, what are we relating to, right?
Yes, yes.
So Sirat al-Mustaqim, the golden path, means the wasat, means, being on a moderate, stance in a sense. But what is that? Say, for example, when we talk about human faculties, right? There is, for example, the faculty Quwwa Aqliya.
Yes, yes.
Yes, the faculty of aql, of
The power of our
intellect, of the
intellect,
intellect,
yeah,
the
yeah,
power of
yeah.
our intellect.
Yeah.
Now, the power of intellect that has been given to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has no limits in nature.
Okay.
In our nature, there is no limits to the power of intellect, right? You can go to the very extreme, you can go to the extreme exact opposite and not using it at all, or you can decide to use it in a moderate manner, right? Now, the limits have been given to us through wahi. The Quran tells us how to use this power of intellect. Nobody else tells us. We know it through the wahi, right? So how is it? So we know that, for example, the power of aql has been given to us to reject what is bad and to accept what is good, right? And the good and the bad is also described in the Quran. The extreme level of using your Quwwa Aql, your power of intellect, would be to deceive people with using your intellect, right? To use that sort of that intellect that was given to you by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that manner that you deceive people. Or on a completely other extreme, it would be not to use it at all, not to really mind and not be curious about anything, and not to make to make a distinction between good and wrong and right and wrong at all, right? So there you see, for example, what the golden path in a sense is, right? And the same can go with Quwwa Shahawiyya, yeah? The natural instincts, that the human beings have, and that's not only sexuality. It goes into eating and drinking and sleeping, and it covers a broad range of things that is in the innate nature of human beings. And here again, you don't have limits. The limits is being also set by wahi, by the Quran, right? Where it says, stay within the daira of halal, which is a very broad daira, and there is no necessity, no need for you to enter into haram, because that circle of halal has been kept very, very large and very broad for us Muslims, right? So, in a sense, it is giving us the sense of, and we see that in Sunnah, obviously, right? In terms of eating, for example, we say, 1/3, with water, 1/3 with, it's very, common hadith, right? And it is teaching us the wasat. It is teaching us the golden path, in a sense, right? So, and the same goes with sleeping and with sexual intercourse, to keep it within the halal circle. Yeah, and then you have Quwwa Qadabiyya.
Yes, anger.
Yeah? Anger,
Yes.
the power of anger. This is just a guideline in a sense, right? So like these quwwas, we as human beings, we have got lots of these, right? And trying to find out what is the middle path of each one of those through the study of the Quran and through the study of the Sunnah and the Prophet ﷺ, right? Who has been the best example for us. Trying to find for ourselves and trying to, to walk on that middle path. Now, Sirat al-Mustaqim, when we talk about Sirat al-Mustaqim, this is exactly what Islam is all about, right? And for this, you don't really, in that sense, need an institutionalized religion where you say, this person is not within my institutionalized religion, so I am feeling as if I am being compromised. No, you as human being, right? Think about that Sirat Mustaqim, right? Whatever you do, you say, will this keep me on this path? If I do certain things, will I still be on this path? Will I still be able to establish my personal relationship with my Lord? Right? Will He be, the Riza? Will He be happy with me, with whatever I do? And that is the main point, really. what we should consider. And this is what religion is all about. This is what Islam is all about.
Yes. What are the biggest challenges in terms of theology that young people face today, do you think?
Well, I think the biggest challenge really for young people is that they have that they're missing the idea of how to build up a personal relationship with their Creator. And I think this is a very main concern of mine as well when I look at today's youth. Because whenever they go to an imam or they want to learn about the religion and they pick up a book and they look into it, what they see is jurisprudence, what they see is fiqh,
Yes.
information about fiqh. So the scholar Said Nursi said, when I would have come during the times of Imam Rabbani, Ibn Arabi,
Yes.
I would have written their work.
Yes.
You remember this? I said.
Yes.
So, but the fact that I have been, that I have come, during these times, requires that I have to write, a different exegesis that addresses completely different problems. Problems that today's people have, and these are serious concerns about the very roots of religion, of theology, which is about the very existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So while people back then had questions about how to do certain things, and nowadays people don't ask about the house, they want to know why. When I say to my child, we need to pray 5 times a day, she doesn't ask me, oh mom, how do I do that? She says, why do I need to do that?
Yes.
Yeah. Or when we fast during Ramadan, and she's only 7, and even my 4-year-old asks me, why do we fast? Right? And so these are the questions, and you can widen that up, and these are the questions, and they're all why questions, right? Why is there evil in this world? Why does God allow evil to happen? Why is there a God? Why am I in this world? Yeah. Where did I come from? Where am I going? What is my purpose in life?
Yes.
What is the meaning of me being here? Right? Why do I need to respect my parents?
Yes.
These are all why questions that today's youth can't find an answer for. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
You can't expect from a young person, from every single young person to go and read Imam Ghazali or read Ibn Arabi or read Sayyid Nursi. That's utopic, right? So what we need to do then is to be able to provide for them a platform, or many platforms actually. It could be done on many different levels.
Yes.
To reach them and to be able to give them the opportunities to explore these questions, to talk about these questions, and to try to understand, and through those to build a relationship with their Lord. And that starts by knowing themselves. They have to first explore themselves as human beings, right? Who am I? What kind of feelings do I have? Where do they come from? Why have they been given to me? Right? And so on and so forth, yeah.
Okay, well, in order for us to do that, I suppose we're going to have to follow your work. Where can we get your book? And obviously, how can we read more? I'm sure there's a website.
The website is www.ifmt.co.uk. And as the IFMT, as I said, we're trying to deal with exactly these issues that I've been just talking about. We're trying to talk about or explore the core questions, the core of Islam, rather than dealing with the crust. Because once the why questions have been established and the love for the Creator has been put into the hearts of our young people, they will ask themselves, how
can I not worship?
Exactly. How can I not worship? And how can I do it? And the only thing they need to do is open up a fiqh book and look into how to pray. And that's a very easy access. That's a very easy thing to do. And all of them can do that. But first they have to feel the need for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And this is what we are trying to do as the IFMT, to put the seeds of need into their hearts, basically.
Yes.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you
Wish you all
very
the
much.
best in the future, and we'll surely be following the work of
Thank
the
you. Yes,
International
I hope. Yes, I hope.
Foundation of Muslim Theology.
Yes, and thank you for IMASA having me here and hosting me here.
Yes.
Obviously, I won't ever miss that.
Yes, no, special thanks to Shamila Suleiman, of course, IMASA, for allowing me this opportunity. Shukran.